I am Madrina. I'm an Aloha girl who grew up modeling, but I didn't have a model childhood. As a teen, the law and I were acquainted, but not necessarily in a good way, if you know what I mean. So I left Hawaii in my troubled past, moved to Pensacola, and opened a new business. Now, I'm a Louis-carrying, Gucci-wearing philanthropist. The adversity I faced as a child gave me the heart, compassion, and understanding for the work I do today as a volunteer and community leader. I've also improved my relationship with the law. Roll with me throughout our community and I'll introduce you to the many organizations and people doing amazing work. Aloha, and thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina. I'm Madrina Ciano, and it is my pleasure and honor to bring to you each week on Blab TV organizations that I love, that I know about, that are doing amazing work in the community. And for the second time, I'm having such organization just like that on. It's called Healing Paws for Warriors. And I became aware of them through my work at Impact 100, and they are also an Impact 100 grant recipient. But they have a very worthy cause, and I just love the work that they do. So if you will extend a warm welcome to the co-founders, Miss Sheila Hale and Michael Arena. Welcome, friends.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us today.
So excited to have you again. You guys are really a grassroots operation. And over the last couple of years, I've seen you go and climb and win grants and expand and have new graduates and so many great things for your organization. So congrats to you on all your accolades. And Miss Sheila, who's this all-star panel you have lined up here today? Introduce your team.
Well, thank you, Madrina, and thanks again for having us here today. We have Mike Arena, who's also the co-founder, and he's lead veteran trainer. We have on the right side of the screen, we have JJ Johnson, who's a recent graduate, and her dog Chopper. We also have at the bottom of the screen, Aaron Davis and his dog Tango. He's a past graduate. And we also have Matt Rumpel and his service dog Hope with us today. He's also the veteran outreach for Healing Paws for Warriors.
And Sheila, when you say graduate or handler for our viewers, what does that mean?
So basically these folks today that you'll see on the screen is veterans that came to our program, went through a 3-month training class, spent about 180 hours in training, and then they were paired with a service dog. So once they graduate, they have 2 certificates. They have a Canine Good Citizen and a Canine Good Citizen Public. So they actually, when we refer to graduates, they're a veteran canine team that have gone through the program.
Very cool. And speaking of this amazing program, Michael, for those who might not be aware, and I'm not sure why, give us a great expanded overview of your program, how it came to be, why you started this, and who it helps, and where do you get the dogs? I mean, just tell us all the 411 on Healing Paws for Warriors.
So the program was started about 6 years ago, just over. And it was started shortly after I had received a dog from a separate organization. And fast forward about 1.5 years and how much he had helped me, Sheila convinced me that if he can help somebody as messed up as I was, then he would be able to help a lot of other people. So we started the program with 6 other members at the time in concept. We were able to put 1 through, save enough money to put 1 through. And then went from there. But the program itself is, or what our mindset was, I should say, we're going to rescue shelter dogs. We're going to train them to be service dogs. We're going to place them with veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, or military sexual trauma at no cost to the veteran, and teach the veteran how to use that animal. So it's not just teaching a man to fish, it's also feeding at the time. It's family after the fact, so they can be as much a part of the organization as they want to be or not. And the testimonial today would be that JJ, Matt, and Aaron are here with us along with a lot more others that wanted to be.
You have a really great tagline. Is it
Save a
Res-
veteran, rescue a dog.
Save a veteran and rescue a dog? That pretty much sums up that program. How many veterans and dog pairings or have you achieved since you've opened your doors?
35 total graduates since we've started. COVID, we were on track to actually do 20, I think 26 last year, but due to COVID, we were only able to, I believe it was 8 total. So this year we're on track to do 20. We graduated 2 recently. And then we have
A waiting list of over a year.
Yeah.
So we
Over a year.
Over a year. So we try to do 4 training sessions a year that last about 8 weeks. And we take it from the panhandle to panhandle, so the Emerald Coast. Basically from Panama City to Pensacola, we work with the shelters, and we pull those dogs, and then we also work with the veterans. There's over 60,000 veterans here in the area, and over 10,000 of them have been diagnosed with this challenge. So we're here to help.
Right. And that, I mean, PTSD is for real. I mean, if you're a lucky one not to suffer from some form of PSD throughout your life, good for you. But some of us aren't that lucky, and we do suffer from PTSD. Just in a nutshell, Michael, or anyone on the team, what is it about that combo of that dog and its abilities that are so calming and healing and reassuring for that vet? How would you simply explain that to someone?
Well, I think it starts for me, and then any of the veterans can come in, is the dog. It's about teaching a bond that takes a long time to develop, and we try to abbreviate that. A bond so much so that Ava, my service dog now, knows when I'm getting worked up before I realize it. As in right now, I'm getting worked up and she is trying to distract me and keeps my anxiety, keeps my depression at times in check, where it's more of a, hey, come play with me, Dad, get back in the now. And it prevents me from spiraling down a rabbit hole or going up a mountain on top.
That's just remarkable how in tune the dog can be to its owner. And I know that it's at an all-time high with these dogs that are trained to provide this comfort. And I just know that the relationship I have with my little white Pomeranian and the joy and the comfort that she brings me, and just if she went through your boot camp, she'd really be able to do something. But it's just remarkable. I mean, JJ, we'll talk more about the program and whatnot, but JJ, you're a recent graduate of the program and you have a dog there with you too. So just in the next 3 minutes, what has it done for you? How has it changed your life?
Honestly, my chopper, actually today's his 2nd birthday, so he's got his birthday bandana on, but he's taking his nap right now. But we met last summer, and by day 2 of training, I had decided that he was going to be my service dog, even though, of course, it wasn't official. We just connected in a way where I was able to really focus on the program. I was really able to focus on me, but also learning to trust him. And that for me, that learning to trust him, because he already knew what I needed before I knew, kind of like what Mike said. But then having the confidence to go out in public, go out at nighttime by myself, go to places where I just didn't go before, without, making poor choices to be able to have that confidence to get out and do those things. Now, we go to the beach, we go to different places at night. I've been able to
It expanded your world.
Mhm.
I mean, you went from living in a bubble to having that reassurance and that comfort and that buddy right there. That it opened up your world, JJ.
Absolutely. And I've been able to cut back on some of my anxiety meds. Instead of taking them 3 times a day, now I just take them in morning and night. things like that, where, not having to go to counseling as much, not having, still, having those resources, but, like we were going through training, Mike just says, hug your dog, play with your dog. And so that's what I do. My first instinct is to play with my dog. And I don't know, it's just, for me, it's probably the greatest benefit that I didn't realize, me personally, I didn't realize how much of a benefit having a service dog was going to be. And
How
so we went through the
beautiful.
program, and now, I can't go from room to room without like looking to see where he's at. And a lot of that is, during our training for 3 months, we're actually attached together to
Right.
build that bond. And so,
What a beautiful story. So beautiful, JJ, and what a blessing for you. And we're going to take a short break, but before we do, we would like to play a video for you about Healing Paws for Warriors and volunteering there, and some ways that you can get involved to help them. I know that this is something that'll pull on our heartstrings in this area. It's a military town, a vet town. So take a look at this video, and we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with Rolling with Madrina.
These veterans are faced with so much. I didn't sign that dotted line, but I wanted to be a part of paying it forward. So me as a community member, what could I do?
Healing Paws is so many things. It's a way to educate others. It's a tool to help a soldier deal with living. That service dog gives a sense of purpose back.
Not everybody has extra money laying around, but what you can give is your time. It's about just giving back to the community that you believe in, whether it's the animal, the veteran, or the team as a whole. That's something that you can provide.
Seeing where the foster pup I have at home is going to end up being task trained and they're doing the job, it took my breath away. I knew I was in the right place.
The community that forms around these guys is huge. There's veterans that come back and help with the classes that are currently in training. I volunteered with the organization because I just love how their connection with the people, the veterans, and the dogs is so strong.
It's community rallying upon one another. That's where it comes from. We would not be able to function without it.
Honestly, I've never seen a program where they keep coming back around. They feel that connection.
Just because you're done with the training doesn't mean you're on your own.
The Healing Paws community is so much more than I expected. Really, it's like a family. Reconnecting with fellow veterans that have similar challenges as I. Always there to help out, always there to answer questions. But not only that, the sponsorship program, we got paired together, and I know I'm blessed for that.
They make it so simple to do something so much more than yourself. I get to love on a dog for a couple of months, and then I get to see them go forward and make a big difference. Sealed the deal for me.
I feel like it's above and beyond what you might expect with some organizations.
Knowing what they did for me, I'd like to pay it forward, and the more I realize what this can do for a person, the more they'll benefit from it.
They call it the invisible wounds of war. Well, it's awesome what I have witnessed with the veterans. They're getting their life back.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
My name is Madrina Ciano, the host of Rolling with Madrina. I enjoy weekly bringing you topics about nonprofits in our community making a difference. Thank you to those of you that have reached out to be on Rolling with Madrina or to advertise on Blab TV. If you would like to sponsor an episode of Rolling with Madrina or advertise on Blab TV, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you out. All right, welcome back to Rolling with Madrina, where we have Healing Paws for Warriors on the show today. We were talking off camera, and of course, I got all choked up and started crying because it just is such a worthy cause, and we'll get into that more later. But the video that you watched right before break was about how to become involved in that program. Sheila, you want to talk more about volunteering and ways people can help you out?
Yes, thank you, Madrina. So part of the reason the program was built, it gives us community members an opportunity to give back to our men and women that have fought for us. So they fought for us. Now it's our turn to give back. And how you can help out with the program is I'm looking at my cheat sheet notes, is fundraising, volunteering. There's an event coordinator. That's how we get some of our funding. If you're a veterinarian in the area that can help with some of the medical costs that we go with our dogs. We're also looking for photographers, family counselors, lawyers, all the things that a main business that have the money to pay for. We're looking for your skill set to come and contribute to the program.
Very good. I mean, it's just such a worthy program, and they were on the show before, and I have a lot of people that follow this show and also know me personally. If you're a photographer and you would like to donate your time and your talent, or like she said, volunteer, maybe come up with a fundraising idea. And even a bigger ask, how about a large piece of property? Some of you are out there sitting on property that's not being utilized. They'd love a beautiful environment to come and host these veterans and the dogs and to go through the training program. So I'm just throwing that out there to the universe. I'm just going to believe it and receive it, that we're going to get photographers and fundraisers and properties. And anyone listening, please let this activate you and put your feelers out there to help Healing Paws for Warriors, because it is so instrumental. And we were talking off camera about PTSD and what a struggle it is to have to live with that. And thank God this program is there. And Matthew, who's on the show this afternoon, Matthew Rumpel helps lead their veteran outreach portion. And tell us more about that.
Well, good morning, Madrina. So what I basically do is I try to capture the veteran, usually try to get them right as they're getting out of the military, so that we catch them right in the transition when they're dealing with a lot with the VA and a lot of, issues and stuff. But I mean, it can be at any point in time. I mean, we've even dealt with some active duty folks, but like you said, PTSD, that's kind of a lot of the things that I deal with. Show them the techniques, talk about what we've done, show them other organizations that they could use for their family finances, dealing with the VA, anything that the veteran deals with, to deal with the civilian world. For us, the terminologies are different. The communication is different. So we kind of get confused when we get out, thinking where we can go to one place and get everything like we did in the military. Civilian world doesn't have that. So we try to help them navigate those things, and also give them a number to call, someone they can talk to 3 o'clock in the morning when you're on the edge of making a final decision. Pick up the phone and call. We'll come to you. We'll talk. We'll bring the dogs, or however things work for you, and find the resources you need, because those weren't available to us.
Full wraparound services. And you said it, when you're in the military, you kind of told where to go, how to do it, what to do. And it's all maybe a one-stop shop. And it's not necessarily that easy in the private world. So thank God you guys are there to help veterans that are getting out and suffering from PTSD and really just adapting into, mainstream society again. Someone like Aaron Davis, who's on the show for the second time with Tango, his awesome puppy there, Miss Tango. And Aaron came to the program. He's a past graduate and a team handler, and he's gone through and he's been there now for some time. Matter of fact, let's just take a little break and watch this video about Aaron and his involvement in Healing Paws for Warriors.
My IFF was broken. My identification of friend or foe was broken. As a protection, everybody was automatically considered a threat. They were trying to get some type of information from me, is the way that my mind read it.
With PTSD, there's certain things that's happening in the human body. Cortisol levels are going up. Adrenaline is pumping throughout the system. All of these things can be translated down this hands-free leash to the service dog before the veteran even realizes.
She's so much more than a dog to Aaron. She knows his emotions and how he feels. Sometimes she just puts herself in between him and whatever else is bugging him, and he doesn't trust anybody else to do that.
Tango, she's hypervigilant, so I don't have to be. She's the one that's doing the analysis work for me.
Like police officers, that's their job. Tango's like a police dog.
Not every dog can be a service dog. It is about 1 in 800 that have what it takes, but it's very much a symbiotic relationship.
We can't live without her. Plus, she's like 24/7 therapy.
There's not only post-traumatic stress, there's also post-traumatic growth. I think I'm in that growing phase.
I know that my husband will be here because of Tango. She made life for us more than livable. She made life for us enjoyable again.
Honestly, I don't think we've even scratched the surface as to what a dog's capable of. Help may come in the form of a four-legged friend.
Aaron, how about that? So tell us a little bit about what Healing Paws for Warriors and Tango has meant for your life.
Yeah, no, that interview alone was one of the hardest things I might have ever done. It's hard to, open up and actually talk about how things are affecting you. And, like I said in the video, my IFF was broken. I had a hard time figuring out who I could trust. And then when I got connected with Healing Paws, I've got a partner here that's got a better sniffer than I do. And she's able to pick out the bad ones or the good folks that are worth hanging out with. So a lot of my trust is in her. And in trusting her, I'm able to trust people more and more. Whether that's out in the grocery store, whether that's out, on the beach, like JJ said. She really helps me get out and about, and be an active part of my family.
It's really game-changing, life-changing. So you have these programs and they're free to vets. Do they have to purchase the dog, Sheila, or is that a free coupling?
So when they come to us, they've already paid enough. And so what we like to do as a program is give back. And the average cost to train one of these dogs from shelter to service is about $5,000. So we're putting that, as you mentioned earlier, out into the air for those folks that would like to sponsor or support a veteran canine team. It's $5,000, and in exchange, you'll have an opportunity to name a future service dog, and follow the team and be a part of our social media platform, however you'd like to be involved in.
That is a very cool opportunity, and I hope a viewer or more, several viewers take advantage of that. So you've got a lot of free stuff that you give out, and then we have COVID, so we can't have fundraisers like we used to. What are you doing to sustain yourselves?
We're relying heavily on prior donations, supporters. I am hitting the books with grants. We were, like you mentioned earlier, we were a very fortunate recipient of Impact 100 Pensacola Women. Thank you guys very much. We were able to secure 2 vehicles to kind of help with transportation for the veterans and also transportation for the dogs. But again, it's again, hitting the books and finding those that supported us before and get those reoccurring donations and grants.
And maybe even as, my volunteer listening force, if you're one of those that's phenomenal about getting grants, and maybe you can help us either grant writing experience or, knowing where to go to.
We've got a little time left, Michael. Let's talk about, we got 3.5 minutes. Let's paint the picture of that great piece of property we want to come forth for Healing Paws for Warriors. You just need a vacant lot, or what would be the need? What would you like in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, if Santa Claus was to show up today, it would be about 6 acres of property, centrally located for the veterans to come to. On that property would have a couple of structures. One would be the kennel facilities that the dogs would be brought into. 2 would be a separate facility for admin, for teaching, training rooms, even for, we have some veterans that come out of the area and they'll stay with other veterans while going through the program. So even if that's providing a room or something for them to stay in while they're here, to look out for. So it doesn't have to be beachfront property. It just has to be preferably centrally located. And then we can find somebody to help us build it, design and build it and lay it out.
Beautiful.
Again,
I hope that comes to fruition. We can always be optimistic. How do people find you? How do they get so lucky to go through your program and get a dog? What's the protocol?
Most everybody hears about us through words of mouth, through shows like yours, where we're fortunate enough to come on to, or they'll see one of our veterans out and about and they'll start talking to. A lot of times, more often than not, it's the spouses that'll come up and start questioning, how does this work, or where did you get, or how much does it cost? And most are flabbergasted when it's it doesn't cost you anything but time and commitment as far as the veteran is concerned. And it's about getting your life back and trusting a process and having a family around that you had in the military. It's a very similar one on the outside. You're not alone. Nobody's going to doubt what you're saying. Nobody's going to, question your sanity because it's true. So one of the things that I say often enough through every veteran I run into is our traumas are completely different. They're not comparable, but the signs and symptoms of those traumas that's left behind are uniquely similar. And we get it.
Right. And you get it.
Yeah.
Matthew, were you about to say something, Sheila?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. We've got the last minute. I'll give it to you.
To piggyback on that, the application is located on our website to apply for the program. We also have social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
And if
I think you said Snapchat, and I said, wow, you guys are overachieving here on the social media game.
We are out there.
And even if veterans need help, and this is important, filling out the application because it's lengthy, if they give me a call, I will come to them. We can fill it out together.
Right. But if you could just want to find them on Facebook, and we'll get the data up on the screen because it's info@healingpawsforwarriors.org, but you can find them on all their social media platforms. And I'm just going to trust and believe that someone listening today has, or more than one person listening today, has blessings in store for Healing Paws for Warriors. Veterinarians and volunteers and donators and photographers and planners and builders and property owners. We're going to believe it and receive it. And so thank you for watching Healing Paws for Warriors on Rolling with Madrina, and we hope that you get involved. Thank you.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.